Good morning, O land of soft, fresh breezes and verdant trees so fair. Today is Friday, the 19th day of September 2025, right here in the beautiful Cayman Islands. We apologize for the late start, but when we have had several announcements had to be made as well. Those were extremely important. So as a result of that, late start. But here we are. We hope and we trust that everyone had a restful, peaceful, enjoyable evening. Those of you who are on our roads, we urge you to please be extremely cautious. Ensure that you observe the rules of the road, whether you're a pedestrian, a cyclist, or operating any type of motorized vehicle. Ensure that you observe the rules of the road. Remember, the life you save may just be your own. And we welcome you to continue to listen to Radio Cayman, because at 8:15 this morning we will have guests in the studio where the focus will be on school zone safety, pedestrian student awareness, talking about how to navigate school zones, speaking about bus laws and other general etiquette for school drop-offs and pickup as well. The target audience for that discussion, of course, is parents as well as commuters. We will get key information about the National Road Safety Campaign, Smart versus Reckless. We will get information about the National Road Safety Survey as well. So encourage you to continue to listen starting at 8:15, and tell all of your friends and family members as well. Encourage them to listen. Meanwhile, for those of you who are celebrating a birthday today, we want to wish you a happy birthday or a happy belated one, whichever is applicable. And to remind you that, for the record, birthday shout-outs brought to you by Coca-Cola, who are proud to support your birthday shout-outs. Coca-Cola available across the Cayman Islands. You should accept no substitutes. Share a Coke with someone special. Those of you who have lost loved ones, we want to extend our sincere condolences to you. We hope and we trust that your faith will help to carry you through these extremely challenging times, and that the memories of your loved ones will be a blessing. Those of you who are ill and are either at home or at a medical facility here in the Cayman Islands or overseas, we wish you a speedy recovery as well. So let's look at the birthday celebration, taking place this today and the weekend as well. So we see where Natalia McLaughlin is celebrating her birthday today. Mr. Buck Grizel also celebrating his birthday today. Miss Carla Borden also celebrating a birthday today. And happy birthdays also going out to Miss Jewel from your sister Trudy and the rest of the family. We also see that on Sunday, the 21st, Miss Aldine Evans will be celebrating her birthday. Sandra Castillo also celebrating a birthday on the 21st. Iselin Dilbert celebrating a birthday on the 21st. Myron Bruce also celebrating a birthday on the 21st as well. Let's see if we have any for the 20th. Okay, and BBC right here, Miss Basilia Barnaby Cuff celebrated her birthday last Sunday the 14th. So we have to wish her a belated happy belated birthday as well. And of course, we know Miss Lucille celebrated hers on the 16th. Percival Worms Jr. celebrated his on the 16th. Keith Rivers celebrated his on the 16th. If you know someone who's celebrating a birthday or any other momentous occasion, please let us know right here on For the Record, and we will certainly give them a birthday shout out. I believe I see another one here today. Good morning, Mr. OC. Could you please send belated birthday greetings to my son, Lauren Williams, who celebrated his birthday yesterday, yesterday, 18th of September. Mr. Lauren Williams celebrated his birthday. Greetings are coming from Tony and Keisha. I'm going to search the WhatsApp messages to see if we have any more. We don't want to miss anyone. Do not want to miss anyone. Want to give as many birthday shout outs as possible. This one, nope. No other birthday greetings so far. And folks, again, remember that this birthday shout out or these birthday shout outs we are able to provide them through the sponsorship of Coca-Cola, who are proud to support your birthday shout outs. Coca-Cola available across the Cayman Islands. You should accept no substitutes. Taste a Coke. Share a Coke with someone special. Don't forget now that we will be talking about road safety this morning, starting at 8:15. As soon as we return from the news, the focus area will be school zone safety, pedestrian, student awareness, navigating a school zone. We'll talk about how to navigate a school zone, school bus laws, other general etiquette for school drop-offs and pickups as well. Just one comment that I would say that sometimes, and I would welcome any comments from our listeners as well. Those flashing red lights or amber lights that are strung across the roadway in the school zone. Sometimes when the sun is bright and those are flashing, it is very, very difficult to discern the fact that they're flashing. But still, you know it's a school zone that you're entering. So irrespective of whether or not the light is flashing, you should still slow down and observe the speed limit, which is about 15 miles per hour in that area as well. And you know the times that schools are out as well. We do have a caller. Let's grab that caller before we go to our first commercial break. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, ma'am. How are you?
Oh, not too bad. I just heard what your topics were going to be, and I did have plans on calling you and hope I would get you for sunset this evening. Mr. Connor, I am down in Katora Street here on Walker's Road.
Mm-hmm.
I am speechless. Mr. Connor, the cars on the main roads down here, cars, look at they're abandoned down here with flat tires. Look at they haven't been moved in a while. We got apartments down here that doesn't have any parking space. They have to park on the road. I wonder when last, at a time, anyone of our whoever in charge, roads and what you were just saying there, rules and regulation and so forth, to ever came down here into Katora Street to see the congestion down in here, and the road is probably just park up left, right, and center on the left hand side, the right hand side, on the corner of the roads, up on the speed bump. I mean, this is ridiculous, Mr. Connor. What are we doing?
And you remember now, Katora Street at one point in time when those apartments were first built in that area, that was almost like the Park Avenue of Georgetown in terms of residents, you know. That was an exclusive area at one point in time when it came to apartments?
Well, when you get a chance, you come and drive through. And I don't think I would consider that in that category anymore. No disrespect to anyone who living in here, but the fact of the matter is, the roads are to be driven on, not to be parked on.
Yep.
And then they got this huge boat parked out on the main road itself, here in on Couture Street.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know. I am so boggled this morning that I am lost for words. You know, I've been going home now these last couple of mornings after 7 o'clock, and the traffic from Thomason roundabout up to Frank Hall, first set of homes there on the Crichton Boulevard Road is longer than, it seems like it's longer than normal. And I guess that's because they covered through the little shortcut road there. But you see, Mr. Connor, I don't care. And I know a lot of people know it too. I don't care how many lanes we get and how many roads we cut. It's not going to solve the problem.
Yep.
We have to put a stop on all of these vehicles that are running the roads left, right, and center. If we open one road today, tomorrow we got 25 new cars on the road.
So true, so true. I'm going to have to interrupt you, though, because I have to go to the news. I will be back on For the Record because we have guests booked from 8:15 right straight through until 10 o'clock. At 12:15, 12:30, I will be back on Talk Today as well, but I do believe that we have guests then, but I will let you know. Hopefully there will be a little opening somewhere where we can chat some more. Thank you very much.
All right, cool.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Folks, please stay tuned For the Record. We'll be back immediately after this commercial break.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
Heber Elroy Arch, 1898-1993.
Elroy Arch was born in Georgetown, the second child of James Heber and Virginia Arch. He was a man of many talents: preacher, politician, building contractor, shipwright, butcher, and farmer. With his father and brothers, he built many of the sailing ships whose names are still remembered, including the Wilson, Goldfield, Adams, and Arbutus. The schooners built in the Arch shipyard were used by Caymanian seamen for turtling in the Mosquito Keys and to bring cargo from the foreign ports. Mr. Elroy served as a member of the Assembly of Justices and Vestry from 1939 to 1954. When visitors from the United States discovered Cayman as a vacation destination, Mr. Elroy built the first winter homes and the first hotel on 7 Mile Beach. He and his wife, Bride Nee Bodden, had 2 children. Mr. Elroy had a wealth of knowledge about Cayman's history and loved to tell the stories told to him by his parents and grandparents, and taped many of these accounts for the National Trust and National Archive and the National Museum.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
Since 1993, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community. A traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way. Positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
Shipping to the Cayman Islands is fast, reliable, and seamless thanks to Cayman Airways Cargo. Need it faster than ocean freight? Cayman Airways Cargo offers multiple cargo flights to Grand Cayman from Miami weekly, so your packages, whether big, small, or in between, will arrive in no time. You can even use a Cayman Airways Cargo US address for your online shopping. Cayman Airways Cargo is also the only carrier providing air freight services for Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Contact us today and see why Cayman Airways Cargo was voted as Cayman's best cargo and logistics company in the Best of Cayman Awards. For details, visit caymanairways.com/cargo.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
Can you imagine your home completely organized? At Brand Source Custom Closets, we can. We specialize in designing and building custom closets and storage units for any room in your home, including the garage, with tailored designs and custom LED lighting solutions to fit your lifestyle and budget. Our custom closets expert is committed to enhancing the value of your home with a solution that is uniquely yours. Visit our showroom or call 623-6774 to schedule a no-obligation appointment with our design expert. Brand Source Custom Closets, 209 Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
This summer, happiness is better when you share it. Coca-Cola invites you to share a Coke with someone special. Grab an ice-cold Coke and find a name. Maybe theirs, maybe yours, maybe a surprise. Because nothing says you matter like sharing a smile and a Coke. So who will you share a Coke with today? Find your name, find your friends, and share a Coke. Available now. Stores island-wide.
The soundtrack to your best memories lives on. Breeze 105.3 FM. From the golden hits of the 70s and 80s. I love you so. To the songs that still move you today. It's the music you know. The music you love. Uplifting mornings. Smooth afternoons. And good vibes all day long. Over my years, I guess I shared it. Don't just listen to the radio. Feel the breeze. Breeze 105.3 FM. Your station. Your music. Your memories.
This is For the Record.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. Short period of time left before we go to our 8 o'clock news. We have a caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, OC.
Good morning.
Yeah, that commercial pretty long. Took up all my time. Yeah. I hear John. OC, we talked about this many times, especially when we used to play the dominoes down in Rockwool. In case fire truck or a wide body ambulance have to come in there after everybody is comfortable, little resting in there, little 1-bedroom in those areas. It can be very difficult to find people to move their cars and that kind of thing. So, like she said, building roads not going to get us out of this problem, we'll see, because in my opinion, building roads are only voodoo economics when it comes on spending, because it takes like $12 million to build up 1 mile of road in the Cayman Islands. And we're not receiving that much, I don't think, revenue from all these little imported cars, domestic cars. When you can bring a car here for $3,500, I mean, and you got to spend $12 million on 1 mile of road to enhance the road so we can accommodate and alleviate the traffic, which is not happening. It's not happening, OC. Yesterday, OC, you should have seen the traffic at the new roundabout, the big one. Not moving at all. I made reference to a friend saying, I said, this look like New York City. But what I wanted to call in for, OC, this morning was, I could just throw the title out. I can't because I know we don't have time.
Right.
I want the Cayman people, OC, to stop making mention of the fact that Cayman is gone. Cayman is no longer for Caymanian. If you keep saying things, OC, you'll believe it, That's not the case. Cayman is still for Caymanians. We just need to have the courage and the willpower and whatever our old people had back in the day. We lost that. We need to bring that back. And because Cayman is still here, it's still here, and we are here.
Yeah, not going anywhere.
We're not going to, and we can't go nowhere, OC, even if it get bad. Where we going to go?
Yep.
We got to have to stay here and do what we did before, build it back. When everybody, well, before people had come, we built it to where it is now, so people could come here to enjoy, to invest, because they're not already to come and invest to make money. So this is still for us. Stop saying that Cayman no longer for Cayman. We gonna have to fight. We gonna have to do whatever it takes to get it back to where we can say it's for us, and it's still for us. Stop talking about it not for us.
Okay.
People go to war for land. Land. One little small piece. So I know you got to go. So we're going to talk later.
Okay, thank you very much. Right, let's grab the next caller. Is going to be short, but we will hope to extend this conversation at another time. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Okay, that caller's still there. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning, caller. Okay, not hearing the caller. Hello. Good morning.
Hello?
Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Go right ahead.
Mr. Connor?
Go right ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. If you have anything on in the background, you may want to turn it off. Otherwise, you're going to get that echo.
Okay, I don't have anything on,
Okay.
sir. Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good, thank you. I'm calling in response to the Compass publication about the immigration reform and all this stuff that they had to say. And I'm going to take probably 2 minutes of your time. I'm going to make it quick.
Sure.
But I just want to echo Lord Graham's sentiment. We need to stop saying that Cayman is gone. We are not gone. We are here, and we are present, and we need to make our voices be heard, right? But, the article that the Compass published for this morning, I'm not sure if it came out yesterday or today, but I read it this morning. The article failed to mention that a lot of these businesses have failed this country. And I'm going to emphasize fail because that's what they've done. The scholarships have not been paid in years. Multiple years, companies have failed to pay their scholarship obligation to the business staff and plans that they have to be in this country. Caymanians have been treated unfairly and thus have had to leave their jobs. The many Caymanian lawyers who have left their careers due to ill treatment, the companies who have had regulations in their positions for years have failed to hire Caymanians and train them, but will train work permit holders and gain experience on the job and thus eliminate Caymanians from the roles.
And promote them so that they can qualify for PR.
Exactly. And you know what really appalls me, Mr. Connor, is that we have finally found and we've finally gained a politician. But I call Mr. Miles a brave ambassador for his people.
And we have to stand behind him, yeah.
Exactly. And I am imploring all of Caymanians and all of Cayman today to stand up for this man, because what he has done, he has shifted the whole ground of how we stand, because now Caymanians have a voice. And this man is going to get a lot of licks, but you know what? I am prepared to stand and get the licks with him, because if we do not stand together, we are going to fall together.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what has been done. I have worked in establishments in Cayman, in the financial sector, that we have had expats come in here, and they have created a culture that they have more say in this country than we do. This has got to stop. This has got to, they have to realize that we are welcoming, but we have gotten to the stand where we are now being looked at as like an outsider.
Yep.
It has gone on far too long. For the first time in my adult life, I'm proud to call Michael Miles a politician in this country.
Mm-hmm. Caller, I hope we get an opportunity to continue this conversation. Unfortunately, I've gone a little bit beyond our 8 o'clock news. Very quickly, though, I will say that people should carefully read this article. I think James Whitaker wrote it. There's a paragraph here, and we have to. This is sort of like what they call green lighting to a certain extent. The paragraph says they warn the strategy could backfire, shrinking rather than expanding opportunities for Caymanians. An alleged government leader dispute, saying their plan aims to safeguard and create jobs for locals. We cannot allow them to use Caymanian and the fact that they've always said, if you clamp down on work permits, it's going to reduce opportunities to for Caymanians. Just like they say, the argument that I've heard that I can never agree with was that the more work permits are issued, the more opportunities for Caymanians. That is such a fallacy. But caller, I hope and we trust that we can continue this conversation. Folks, I've gone over 3 minutes as well. I'm going to get reprimanded for that, but it was important to hear what that caller has to say. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back immediately after the 8 o'clock news.
Thank you so very much, OC. The time in Radio Cayman is now 8:03, and this time signal is brought to you by Foster's.
Since 1976.
Covering Grand Cayman, Little Cayman, and right. One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Carsley Fuller. The National Conservation Council greenlights the new Hyatt Central development, at least on their side of things. The proposed development includes a 10-story hotel building with 316 units at the existing site of the Margaritaville Resort. Since it is next to a known turtle nesting beach, it triggered a review by the NCC under the National Conservation Act to determine whether or not the project would need an environmental impact assessment.
So when we looked at the application and considered it against the screening criteria in the EIA directive, we concluded that it doesn't require an EIA. We acknowledge that there are likely to be significant adverse effects on turtles because of lighting if we don't get a proper turtle-friendly lighting plan coming forward. We feel that we can deal with that through the planning process.
In addition, Department of Environment Director Gina Ebanks-Petrie told the NCC that the Central Planning Authority, if it approves the project, can also set a condition requirement of turtle fencing.
We typically recommend for construction on any beach where there's nesting, not just critical habitat. We make the recommendation that the construction itself is encapsulated by a fence that is basically turtle-proof. Planning has been pretty good about including that condition in the planning permission requirements, obviously, because we can't sort of impose that unless it's in the planning permission requirements. And what that does is stop the turtles accessing the actual construction site.
The motion was approved, meaning an EIA is not required for the Hyatt-centric project. The site was initially developed back in the 1980s as the Treasure Island Resort with about 280 guest rooms. The 4th Cayman Islands Biennial opens October 2nd, treating local art enthusiasts to more than 90 pieces across all 3 Cayman Islands.
We started the biennial program in 2019, and it's really about exploring these contemporary issues that are happening within our communities, both locally, regionally, and internationally as well, and doing that through the lens of the artist. So when people think about contemporary art, people might think about experimental art, but there's many different types of mediums and styles that are being showcased throughout the exhibition.
National Gallery's Maya Mutu tells Radio Cayman this year's theme is Archipelago. The multi-sided exhibition represents the best submissions from Caymanian artists across all 3 islands and the diaspora to showcase the, quote, breadth and diversity of creativity in Cayman. Co-curator Davin Ebanks.
This is not an art competition per se. We're not going out looking for just the best of the best. There is always a theme. The title for this one is Archipelago. We have sub-themes within that. And so we put out an open call to the community. The community either comes with artwork that already fits that, or they make proposals. And a lot of the artists have been thinking about this biennial from the last one, and so the theme, the call goes out close to a year in advance, so the artists have a chance to make work specifically for this.
The biennial runs October 2nd through February 18th at the National Gallery and across several satellite spaces in Grand Cayman, Little Cayman, and Cayman Brac, including the National Museum, Grambella's, Mission House, the Little Cayman Museum, and Brac Heritage House. Admission is free to the public, as is a suite of programming that will, quote, animate the venues throughout the exhibition run. An IMAX annual gala raises more than $42,000 for educational scholarships. Here's Radio Cayman's April Cummings.
More than 300 guests from the captive insurance and financial services sectors came out for the Insurance Managers Association of Cayman annual gala and scholarship fundraiser held on September 13th at the Kimpton Seafire Resort and Spa. The event raised more than $42,000 in support of the IMAC Educational Scholarship Fund, ESF. Organizers say the funds raised will help provide life-changing educational opportunities to young Caymanians pursuing tertiary studies abroad. One of the highlights of the event, Radio Cayman's own Jevi Ebanks, who shared his personal story as a past recipient of the scholarship. April Cummings, Radio Cayman News.
Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which takes us out of the newscast. I'm Karsley Fuller.
BBC News with Moira Alderson. A drone strike on a mosque in Sudan's Darfur region is reported to have killed at least 75 people. The attack in Al Fasher is being blamed on the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces, who've been fighting to take over the city from the army. BBC News.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman with the latest up-to-date, accurate news and information. For your convenience, the headline news will be repeated on our sister station, Breeze 105.3 FM, weekdays at 8:30 a.m. Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or download the Radio Cayman app in the App Store or log on to www.radiocayman.gov.ky and stay connected to what's happening in the community. Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
The Lions Club of Grand Cayman is proud to continue to serve our island community. The club continues to host successful community projects like the Prostate and Colon Cancer Awareness Campaign, free site screening in schools, spelling bee, swim meets, and their community pantry. The Lions Club of Grand Cayman looks forward to continuing their service for many years to come. The Lions Club of Grand Cayman, where there's a need, there's a lion, serving the community for over 50 years. Pastors Garrett and Joseph Haylock and the congregations of the Church of God at West Bay and Breakers would like to extend a special invitation to the annual revival services in West Bay. Services will be held at the Church of God at West Bay, 108 Captain Reginald Parsons Drive, 7:30 nightly, Monday, September 15th to Saturday, September 20th, with evangelist Brother Cleve Bodding and other visiting brethren from Honduras. For transportation, call 916-1345 or 916-6367. All services will be aired on Facebook.
The 8 a.m. weather update brought to you by CG Britcade, where people come first.
It is 8:10, well, just about 8:11 right here on Radio Cayman 89.9. It is now time for another weather update. The temperature right about now is 87 degrees, but it actually feels like 103 degrees. Ooh, it's hot out there. Humidity is standing at 79% with wind speeds of 1.8 knots. And a quick look at what's happening throughout the day. Today, expect partly cloudy skies with cloudy spells and a 30% chance of late afternoon showers with some thunder. And the temperatures are expected to rise near the low 90s with a heat index of 106 degrees Fahrenheit. Winds will be light and variable and seas will be smooth with wave heights of less than 2 feet. Tonight, expect partly cloudy skies with a 20% chance of showers and some thunder. And the temperatures will fall the near low 80s. Sunset later today will be at 6:23 and a sunrise tomorrow morning at 6:15. And the outlook is for localized afternoon showers through to the weekend as light and variable winds continue in association with a weak pressure gradient across the Western Caribbean. And that is it for your weather update. Be sure to have your umbrellas on hand as we are expecting some showers later today. This is Radio Cayman 89.9. Want to say a huge thank you to CG Britcay for sponsoring this weather update.
Hey folks, thanks for your patience. We'll be taking off very shortly. Should be wheels up in about 40 minutes. And due to a bumpy ride, snacks and beverage service has been suspended. AC has given us some trouble. Sorry folks. And Wi-Fi is out. And so is the entertainment. Yeah, I'm sorry about the smell, folks. We are aware.
I know.
Just one more quick note. We are going to have to deplane.
Come on!
We're like the plane ride that isn't a nightmare. CG Britcay. Good like that.
The 8 a.m. weather update brought to you by CG Britcay, where people come first.
Shipping to the Cayman Islands is fast, reliable, and seamless thanks to Cayman Airways Cargo. Need it faster than ocean freight? Cayman Airways Cargo offers multiple cargo flights to Grand Cayman from Miami weekly, so your packages, whether big, small, or in between, will arrive in no time. You can even use a Cayman Airways Cargo US address for your online shopping. Cayman Airways Cargo is also the only carrier providing air freight services for Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Contact us today and see why Cayman Airways Cargo was voted as Cayman's best cargo and logistics company in the Best of Cayman Awards. For details, visit CaymanAirways.com/cargo.
Marriage is a journey worth investing in. On Saturday, September 20th, join author, coach, and speaker, Mr. Wesley Jones from Panama, for a life-changing marriage workshop at the Intergenerational Hub, Old Woods Furniture Store behind Airport Fosters. Discover tips on how to continue loving in your marriage, strengthen your bond, and inspire the next generation that marriage works. Enjoy breakfast at 10 a.m., followed by a powerful workshop and question and answer session. Space is limited. RSVP as soon as possible. Call 916-6182. A Kimpton gift certificate is up for grabs for the person inviting the most couples. This is a free event. Strong marriages build strong families, and strong families build strong communities.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Enjoy a delicious start to your day with breakfast from Subway.
All right, it is that time of morning to take another quick look at what's happening across our roads. Well, definitely the traffic has dispersed in most of the traffic hotspots since morning. If you're coming from the east on the East-West Arterial Road, it should be smooth sailing as you make your way in, as traffic has really cleared up, and just about the same for Crew Road. There's still a little bit of traffic, but nothing compared to like an hour ago, so you should be fine. If you're on the West Bay Road in the vicinity of the Ritz, traffic is moving smoothly in both directions, but we're still having some traffic coming from Huldah Avenue into the C&B roundabout, so expect a little bit of delay. Over there on Edward Street, traffic is moving smoothly, and just about the same for Shedden Road and on Owen Roberts Drive. And as expected, if you are heading towards the Butterfield roundabout from North Sound Road or off the Esterly Tibbetts Highway or from Industrial Park, expect a little bit of delay as you head into the roundabout, as we have a little bit of traffic heading in that direction. Shamrock Road is looking good, not much activity at this time. And let me see if I can head on over to one more location. Well, we were having some traffic right over there from Crew Road around the runway, but that has dispersed a little bit. So you should be good in that direction, all right? Thank you so very much for tuning in to our latest traffic update, brought to you today by Subway.
Get ready for something sweet, spicy, and totally crave-worthy. The hot honey chicken sandwich is here, and it's bringing the heat. We've taken our tender, juicy chicken and drenched it in bold hot honey sauce for the perfect balance of sweetness and spice. But hurry, this one's only here for a limited time. Hot honey chicken. Try it today before it's gone. Subway. Eat fresh.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Enjoy a delicious start to your day with breakfast from Subway.
Water Authority Cayman wishes to advise the motoring public of upcoming wastewater infrastructure works along West Bay Road in the vicinity of Burger King, which will cause a partial closure of West Bay Road. Preliminary activities, which the Water Authority contractors will conduct, are scheduled to take place on Saturday, 20th September, which may cause temporary traffic diversion into the center turn lane for southbound traffic. Traffic signs and other control measures will be placed when needed. The primary maintenance work will take place on Sunday, 21st September from 5 a.m. to 5 p.m. During the works, the southbound lane of West Bay Road will be closed between Burger King and the Dart Overpass, with the southbound through traffic being diverted through Esterly Tibbetts Highway. The northbound lane will remain open. Motorists will be able to access the businesses in the area: Galleria Plaza, Tiger Mart Gas Station, and Burger King. West Shore Plaza and Wendy's can be accessed via Lawrence Boulevard. Flaggers and traffic signs will be in place. All motorists are asked to drive with caution to ensure their own safety as well as the safety of the Water Authority and its contractor staff. These works are part of an ongoing series of maintenance work on the wastewater infrastructure in the area. The Water Authority appreciates the patience and understanding of its customers and the public as it upgrades its wastewater infrastructure and apologizes for any inconvenience caused.
Mark your calendars for the Caribbean's ultimate gaming event. In the heart of the Caribbean, a storm is rising, the battleground is set, and the ultimate showdown is about to begin. This year, the games hit harder than ever. Fortnite, FC 25, Super Smash Bros, NBA 2K25, and iRacing. Whether you're building, brawling, scoring, or driving, this is your stage. Top cosplayers, content creators, and gamers are flying in for one epic weekend in Grand Cayman. Meet Brown Bakugo, Kawiwi, and Austin John Plays. Snap pics, get autographs, or even one-on-one them live on stage. Gamers Bay isn't just a tournament, it's cosplay, merch, VR, creator booth, free play zones, prizes, and the epicenter of Caribbean esports. Think you've got what it takes? Step up and compete for your share of $10,000 in cash and prizes. Win glory, bragging rights, and cold hard cash. Gamers Bay 9, September 27th and 28th at the John Gray Gymnasium. Level up, lock in, let's play. For tickets and team registrations, head over to gamersbayevent.com.
For the Record with ORRETT Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We have a few birthday greetings still. I'll try to fit them in between now and our next guest as well. But we are getting a late start here because we started the news late. I'm responsible for that. So we're going to get right into the conversation this morning. Like I told you earlier, that we will be talking about school zone safety for pedestrians, student awareness, navigating how to navigate a school zone, school bus laws, other general etiquette for school drop-offs and pickups. We will be talking about the National Road Safety Campaign, SMART versus Reckless, which is led by the Ministry of Planning, Lands, Agriculture, Housing, and Infrastructure. And it is my pleasure to have in the studio with me this morning from the Department of Education Services, Ms. Jen Rivers, and from the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service, Mr. Atherton. Folks, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning.
We constantly hear our callers, and some of them have experience because they work directly with schools and with the buses as well, expressing their concerns and expressing their frustrations in terms of the failure of road users, in particular motorists, and maybe even those riding motorcycles or those, on these electric-powered bikes as well, not observing the rules of the road. So it is really, really great to have you on the show this morning and for you to talk about it as well. So with that, I'm going to throw the mic over to you, Miss Jenny.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine. And yourself?
Oh, not too bad. Thank you guys for having us. Just a few quick things that I just want people to know before we all get started in the conversation is that at any given morning, we have over 82 between school buses and our own government vehicles on the road. These are transporting children back and from homes to school, which this transports to approximately 2,600 students in the day, which is about 50% of our mandatory school-age children. We have a little over 5,300 mandatory school-age children, and in the system we have 5,600, which includes reception. But reception students don't drive the school bus.
Right.
Majority of our school buses are going the opposite direction of traffic. We have a few schools that would go with the traffic, is like your John Gray High School, your Cayman Islands Federal Education Center, one or two buses from Marine Martin Primary School and Red Bay. But majority of our buses go against traffic. Just asking people to be vigilant of when they see school buses, make sure they stop. Especially for the primary ones, these ones are our litless ones. All bus doors are on the left-hand side. Students enter on the left-hand side. For the primary school children, we asked bus wardens if the children are on the opposite side of the road, they get off, they go across the road, get the student and walk back across the road. For the high school ones, there's the same situation where if children are across the road, we ask buses to please stop so the children can get across the road safely and get on the bus. That's basically just a little general thing.
And each bus has a warden on board.
Each bus has one warden, which includes up to Cayman Islands Federal Education Center. For our special needs school, which is Lighthouse School, we have 3 wardens on each bus because of the needs of the children.
Okay, Mr. Watts, we know that, people believe that the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service can be everywhere, at the same time, which we know that is impossible. But let's talk about the work that the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service does to keep our roads as safe as possible and to keep the road users as safe as possible.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Indeed, we actually wish we could be everywhere, and then we would eliminate some of those complaints that we get. But just to ensure that persons understand as it relates to the school zones and the school buses, the road code in conjunction with the Traffic Act does state that once a school bus is setting down or picking up passengers, all road users must, and the must is in capital letters for a reason.
Yeah.
It never says cars or just bikes or trucks. It says all road users, which includes pedestrians as well. Yes, which includes those e-bikes I just spoke about. Those persons must stop when the lights are flashing, regardless of the direction that you're traveling. So if the bus is on the opposite side of the road and you should also stop and wait for those buses to go. You must remain at halt until the lights are no longer flashing. And you must watch for children who are crossing the road. And these children can be crossing from any direction. So it is important for us as motorists, as persons who are using the road to see this, to see the school zones. Persons, when we talk about the school zones, we have the lights and the amber light which comes on during the school hours, the operating hours for school. And we also know that the speed limit for those roads decreased to 15 miles per hour. Now, I've heard many people say 15 miles is very slow. Yes, it is slow, and there's a reason why it is slow. It's because we are in an area where children are, and we know how children behave. Precisely. The behavior of children, they can, at any point in time be using the roads. And so it is important for persons, to drive at 15 miles an hour and no more. And while we're at it, and I think this is important for persons to understand, the consequences of failing to drive at the speed limit in the school zone. The fine for each mile that you may go over the speed limit in the school zone when you're stopped by the police is $40. Your speeding fine doubles. And so, for example, if you're in a school zone and you're driving at 20 miles and you get stopped by the police, by me or someone else, one of my colleagues, you're going to pay a fine simple as 5 miles over of $200.
Yeah.
So that's money from your pocket. So again, I say, aside from that, it's not worth it. Our children are the future, and so we should do whatever we can to ensure that we remain safe in the school zones.
Now, we have seen the flashing amber light that is overhead, but we also see the pedestrian crossing where those lights have been established as well.
And you also see the signs. The signs say school zone as well.
Right. Have we seen an improvement in the way that drivers conduct themselves as a result of these enhancements?
I think we have, because, like I said, I've been with the Department of Education for 16 years. We've had a few incidents in the school zones, but I think over time they have decreased.
Okay.
Yeah, the thing is, ideally we would love to see it a lot more, where persons just literally slow down once you approach a school. And what is important for persons out there in the radio land to understand is that even if the lights are not flashing, because these lights can easily go out of service, they can malfunction. Even if the lights are not flashing, once it is a school zone and it is during that operating hours, we should know that. And as motorists, we should automatically decrease our speed. So it's not going to take away from the fact that the amber light wasn't flashing, that you're going to get stopped by the police and you will be prosecuted. And I know for sure, you're more than likely will be convicted of for that offense. So it is important, not because the light may not be working, that you should say, oh, I didn't see the lights flashing. No, it's a school zone, and we all know once you're in a school zone, you should take extra care.
Are there other types of technology that could assist the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service in as well as Department of Education Service in terms of enforcement? For instance, cameras that could record license plates that are going over the speed limit at a particular point in time, those hours when the either school is opening up or when school is letting out, as well. Would technology assist?
Technology always assists, and we are in the day and age where the world is technology driven. So it is important to whenever it comes into play. And I've heard the conversations going on where those are concerns as it relates to cameras, speed cameras. Right now we have speed cameras on the roads. Those are there more for persons to see how fast they're going so that they can control their speed. But it would definitely help if we have those cameras, in those areas, what I would call vulnerable areas where they would able to assist us in terms of executing our jobs. If I may say, a little easier.
Yeah, and you spoke earlier about the fines, and we know that those fines can serve as a deterrent. Now, there are some people within government circles who feel that we don't want the public to believe that we're targeting them to make money off them. But if it is to be used as a deterrent, and if that is what it takes to keep our children safe on our roads, then
it is important. Let me maybe this will send it home a little bit more.
Okay.
So we have been instructed from the court that, and the law is also clear, that once you double the speed limit in any zone, so whether it's a temporary zone, and temporary zones include the school zones, or if roadworks are going on and stuff like that, any person who doubles the speed limit, we have been instructed, again, by law, as well as the court, to send those persons to court. So don't give them a speeding ticket.
Okay.
Send them to court, and they stand a chance of being disqualified from driving, losing your driver's license for a minimum of 6 months. Plus, you're still going to pay the financial penalty. So, as far as I'm concerned, it's a no-brainer.
I guess people don't, as you say, people don't look at it like that, but you realize that if it's your child that gets hurt, it will be a different story. But we're not only protecting one child. Like I said, those are all my children. As I get up in the morning and I go to work, all of those over 5,600 children are my children. So I'll do anything to help protect them. People don't realize that school buses have blind spots. It's a big vehicle, and it got blind spots around it. 10 feet around the school bus are blind spots, right? That's why I say the parameter is 10 feet. So we ask people to stay at least 20 feet away from a bus. It'll give them time that they can stop and start back up and collect kids safely.
Now, the frustration that we hear from people is that, when someone breaks the law as far as not stopping in a school zone, or when a bus is discharging or boarding a student, if someone simply speeds by, there's nothing that can be done unless there's a police officer there at that point in time. How can we mitigate against that?
But that's not true. Because if you witness any person that lives in the community witness an offense and is willing to speak to the police about what they saw, then the relevant action can and will be taken. We have had several video recordings from persons who have their private cameras in their vehicles, their dash cams. They've sent that to us, various police officers or the Inspector Tahala Traffic, and those persons have been dealt with. I can tell you that. So once we have those recordings, that registration plate, that vehicle is yours, you're the registered owner, you're the person driving, or someone else was driving, those persons are then contacted and they are prosecuted and dealt with accordingly. So it's not necessarily true that a person speeds past and we're not there and they get away with that offense.
That's good to know. And, by imparting that information, we will empower more people then, to either record the license plate or whatever, and to come to us, to the police department.
We'll deal with it.
Okay. Do we want to talk about the road safety campaign, Smart versus Reckless?
Yeah, and so, yeah, sure. The National Road Safety Campaign, it is a joint campaign which is led by the Ministry of Planning, Lands, Agriculture, Housing and Infrastructure. This is where the National Road Safety, the strategy is to to eliminate road fatalities by the year 2038 down to zero. So so by 2038 we should, unfortunately, I think we have too much road fatalities here in the Cayman Islands. And just over this last weekend, we had a young man, Filipino national, who was unfortunately killed on our roads. And so this is where the word smart versus reckless, it's pretty straightforward. Once you're on the roads, you must do whatever it takes to ensure that you're driving safely and you're being protective of not just yourself, as Ms. Jenny says, but everyone else on the road. So that's being smart as opposed to being reckless. And reckless ranges from a number of things. Persons can either be distracted on their phones, drink driving, sitting behind the wheel after consuming alcohol, or merely just speeding on the roads. And so that is something that persons should ensure that they, stay smart. And the current campaign, the tagline for that is "Be smart, be alive." So if you want to be alive, you need to stay smart. And if you want to be reckless, then we know what's going to happen there.
I always say that there's room in Churchill's and Barden's Funeral Home for a lot.
Yes.
But we don't want that.
So just to continue, the National Road Safety on their website, which is www.gov.ky/road safety, persons can go on. There's a very quick survey, which is they're asking persons to say how they feel about road safety in the Cayman Islands, and the survey currently opens until the end of the month, so until the 30th of September. Up to yesterday, we've had over 230 persons responding. We want to see at least 20,000 persons responding. We have so many people driving on our roads, and so it's important to get their feedback in terms of how we can improve and how we can be smart and be alive.
Okay, one of our listeners, and this may be beyond your remit, but you could possibly pass it on to the relevant person. The person says, we would like to have something done in the area of the school, John A. Cumber Primary School. The road from the library up to the police station, I guess that's on Reverend Blackman Road, is used for a racetrack. Please check all of the West Bay School areas and the clinic. The children are present and are future as well.
Exactly. Thank you.
Yeah, the area commander for the West Bay District will pass that information on to him, and just to have his officers to probably just to be a little bit more vigilant out there. As you said in the beginning, unfortunately we cannot be everywhere, but we will do our best.
Okay. Anything you want to add, Miss Jenny?
No, just asking people to make sure. I mean, like we said, these are all of our children. These are our future. We know that we as adults, we can protect ourselves, but a lot of our children cannot protect themselves. Let's be vigilant. Let's make sure that when we're in school zones, even driving not in school zones, just driving in the morning coming down in traffic, please be vigilant. I see ladies putting on makeup. I see people on the phone, distracted by different things, motorcycles weaving in and out of traffic, cars weaving in and out of traffic. Cayman is not that big that we have to be in a rush to go everywhere. I know people need to get to work on time, and they complain that it's our school buses. No. Our school buses start picking up at 5:30. By 7:30, majority of our school buses have dropped children off at school and on their way back home. There's still sufficient time for people to get where they're going, whether to get there safely or not get there at all. Okay. We see too many families going through grief.
One of our listeners have written and observed that during the times when school is out, like vacation, summertime, or holidays. That is when you see less traffic on the roads. It isn't necessarily because of the school buses, but because parents or family members are using their private vehicles also to transport their children to school. And they want to know whether or not the school bus service that is provided, whether or not that is being fully utilized, or whether or not some parents choose not to send their children by bus.
Well, at the moment, like I said, we have over 5,600, which includes reception children, in our government school system. Of that, we have 2,600, which is what our bus capacity is. And all of our buses at present is full to capacity. We're looking at options on putting on more additional buses. Because of the increase in enrollment, we had more parents want to take up the transportation option. So we're looking at that at present. But as everybody knows, the private schools does not have bus service. And we have had a transportation committee that was done through Ministry of Planning, that we were looking at that option for private schools as well. It has stopped at the moment, but I think they're about to take it up again, and a lot with this national road strategy is part of it, to see what we can do to minimize some of the traffic. Because I know a lot of people know Walker's Road, especially like the prep school and the Catholic. If you go there in the morning, it's chock-a-block from 7:40 straight through till like 8:15. In the afternoons, it's the same thing.
Yeah. Okay. Before we go to the commercial break, Mr. Watts, I'd like you to repeat the information for a listening and viewing audience in relation to the National Road Safety Survey. Let them know the website and the length of time that survey will run, and if you are unable to get the sample that you would really like to get, whether or not there's the possibility of extending that time period.
Right. So the extension would be from the road safety campaign personnel. But the survey is a part of a regular pulse check, and this is done to understand how people in the Cayman Islands feel about road safety. The survey looks at the public's concern, their message recall, and whether the issues they feel that they are personally relevant. The survey opens until the 30th of September, and it can be found on the website www.gov.ky/road safety. And to date, we have had over 230, just about 230 persons responding, and we need more persons to come on board.
Okay, and when do you know when it opened up? When?
I'm not sure when.
I think was for the month of September.
September,
starting in September. So after 20 less than 20 days, we should have more responses than that, and we're going to have to push that some more. We do get people calling in and talking about road safety as well. So folks, those of you out there, if you want to have your say and contribute and give feedback, please go to www.gov.ky/road safety, where you will get an opportunity to participate in this quick survey, which is a part of a regular pulse check to understand how people in the Cayman Islands feel about road safety. It looks at public concern, message recall, and whether the issue feels personally relevant as well. So your opportunity to have your say. We're going to take a commercial break. When we return, the conversation will continue with Miss Jenny Rivers and Mr. Athelson Watts from the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service. And of course, Miss Rivers is from the Department of Education Service. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning.
Ouch!
When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
It's a sizzling summer with Jan Money. You can win a luxury weekend getaway for two when you send or receive money from now until September 30, 2025. That's right. We're turning up the heat this summer with Jan Money. Visit www.janmoneyonline.com to learn more about how to win. What are you waiting for? Send, win, relax this summer with Jan Money.
Your dream home starts with a vision, and often inspiration is at the heart of that vision. Brand Source Home Gallery's in-house designers are here to help bring your vision to life. Whether you're remodeling or building a new home, Brand Source Home Gallery is your one-stop solution. Explore their kitchen cabinets, sinks, faucets, bath fixtures, tubs, vanities, and more. Let Brand Source's designers help and inspire you with your next project. Call 623-5000 and schedule an appointment with a design expert at Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, serving Cayman for 50 years.
When a hurricane hits, unexpected costs can add up fast. Homeowners are usually out of pocket for these costs to get supplies or make minor repairs. But with Cineco's parametric coverage, you get automatic payouts within 2 to 3 weeks after a Category 3 or stronger storm, whether or not you have damage. Available only through Cineco Homeowners Insurance. Call 949-8101 or visit Cineco.ky for a quote. That's Cineco.ky to get a quote today. Cineco, keeping Cayman covered.
If you think of HPV as a woman's problem, think again. Cervical cancer is not the only type of cancer linked to HPV. Other cancers linked to HPV include throat, mouth, and neck cancers, making it everyone's problem. The HPV vaccine is our best protection against HPV-related cancers. It is recommended for everyone, male and female, and for those under the age of 25. All it takes is a single dose for protection. For more information, contact the Public Health Department on 244-2648 or 244-2889.
Shipping to the Cayman Islands is fast, reliable, and seamless thanks to Cayman Airways Cargo. Need it faster than ocean freight? Cayman Airways Cargo offers multiple cargo flights to Grand Cayman from Miami weekly, so your packages, whether big, small, or in between, will arrive in no time. You can even use a Cayman Airways Cargo US address for your online shopping. Cayman Airways Cargo is also the only carrier providing air freight services for Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Contact us today and see why Cayman Airways Cargo was voted as Cayman's best cargo and logistics company in the Best of Cayman Awards. For details, visit CaymanAirways.com/cargo.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
At 35 miles per hour, you have 3 seconds to react. At 50 miles per hour, just 1.5 seconds. That split second you save speeding could be the split second that saves a life. Most fatal crashes in Cayman involve speeding. Slow down, because arriving late is better than never arriving at all. Smart or reckless, your choice changes everything. Visit gov.ky/road safety.
Storms bring wind, rain, and unexpected costs to buy supplies, secure your home, or make minor repairs. Incidental expenses not covered by insurance. Until now, with Cineco's parametric coverage, you get automatic payouts within 2 to 3 weeks of a Category 3 or stronger hurricane, whether or not you have damage. Available only through Cineco's homeowners insurance. Visit Cineco.ky to get a quote today. Cineco, keeping Cayman covered.
For the Record with ORRETT Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. For those of you who are just joining us, we're talking about school zone safety, pedestrian student awareness. We're talking about navigating a school zone. You've heard about the school bus laws and other general etiquette for school drop-offs and pickups. That conversation is taking place with Miss Jenny Rivers from the Department of Education Services and Constable Athelston Watts from the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service. One of our listeners has suggested that they say, can the survey be placed in places like libraries and supermarkets as well as police stations? It's important. However, not everyone has access to computers or may be even being computer literate as well. And the person says also that this is actually the first time that they're hearing about this particular survey as well. So sounds as if it needs to be publicized so much more as well. Folks, over to you.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent suggestion, and the relevant persons will be informed, and I think that's something that we should be able to get done.
I think so too, and we can let the Ministry of Planning know. And also I think that as well, this might be good for some of our, see if we can get it out through our parent bodies through schools. When I go back to, when I can, see if we can, I'll send a link out to principals and ask them to disseminate through their parent body. Yes, that may be another thing that we think, because like we said, we're looking at school zones as a major importance, and getting the parents' feedback or in a general public feedback. These children are our future. We have to protect our children, and begging people to, be vigilant around school zones. Please, especially when parents are dropping off kids at school. We know the lines are long in the morning. Some mornings at 7:30 for primary schools. Gates don't open to 7:30. But please, when you're dropping kids off, don't drop them off and in front of school gates and leave them there. Because that's danger for when other cars are coming in the compound. Children can run out and they're not got nobody supervising them. When you drop your kids off, please make sure that your children get safely into the schoolyard or cross in front of your car and see them that they get safely in the schoolyard. Do not just drop them and drive away. I've witnessed the other morning where I was driving, after I dropped my grandchild to school, I was driving on my way to the office. I stopped behind a school bus. School bus stopped to pick up kids, but all the doors is on the left-hand side. There were kids on the left and the right-hand side of the road. Bus warden was accepting kids on the left-hand side and getting the bus on. A parent on the other side of the road makes a child jump out of the car and run across the road and was nearly hit by a car.
Wow.
We asking, 2 minutes of your time to get out of your car, walk your child across the road. Sometimes, yes, we know bus wardens for primary school should come across the road and get your kids and walk them across the road. But there are some instances where they're dealing with other kids. So just get up, get out of your car, walk across the road with your child. Make sure the child is safely on the bus. Then you can go back across the road. These little things go a long way in protecting our children.
Now, Ms. Jenny, you mentioned the fact that no one is there until 7:30. Now, some parents will tell you that because of the pressures and their schedule at work, they would like to be able to drop their children off earlier than that. Has the Department of Education Services considered even someone who is retired and may not be a part of the school system, good opportunity for some temporary employment to be there to accept those students who may come before 7:30?
The department has looked at it about starting early morning care at schools, but this is something that is continuously looked at. It'll be brought up in further discussions. Based on child protection law, it would not have to be only one person. It would have to be two.
Okay.
Because once children are present, we have to have two adults in thing. I'll bring it forward again with the senior leadership team at education, and this is something that we've looked at in the past, I said. So, bearing in sight and looks at school. I know some PTAs have looked at it. I know there's some schools that have early morning. I know East End has it because of the thing. And we have our nursery school program for East End for the younger children are in nursery school. Those start at 5:30 in the morning. The kids can be dropped off so that parents have sufficient time to get into work. I know Johnny Cumber is another school that has early morning drop off. So there are some schools that have started it on their own.
Okay. Excellent. On this survey, one of our listeners wanted to know whether or not there's any age restriction in participating in the survey because they believe that the children, school children, at least those, at that level of intellect should have the opportunity to
I don't think so age restriction because I looked at it yesterday. I didn't fully complete it yesterday, but I looked at it yesterday, and some of the questions are relevant to our children.
Yeah.
And it would be beneficial that our children, I said, would even be from year 5 and 6 straight up to high school, because those are the more proficient children that would, be able to answer some of those questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're almost out of time. I hope we have the opportunity again, either before the survey finishes or after the survey, to talk more about this. I want to give both of you an opportunity for some closing comments, starting with you, Constable Watts.
Right. So my closing comments are very simple. While we speak a lot about motorists and we highlight them as it relates to the school zones, the care and the burden of care should also falls on, as Miss Jenny said earlier, the parents and the students themselves. I'll say this: do not just jump out of the bus and run across the road, believing that the cars behind are going to stop. We have seen examples where they have not stopped. And while we have not had any incidents, we don't want to be reacting. So we are being proactive. So we're going ahead. So the students must exercise extra care, and I will continue to remind motorists that when you're driving through the school zones, think about the punishment if you commit an offense and you're caught by the police.
Okay, Ms. B, while I'm at it, we do have a voice note. You may want to check that voice note. I'll have Ms. Jenny give some closing comments, and if we can play that before we close off, that would be good as well if it relates to the topic that we're talking about. Ms. Jenny.
Sorry, my closing comments is just asking people, keeping students safe is a team effort. Includes parents, drivers, bus staff, community working together, paying attention and doing the right thing every single day. And that's what keeps our children safe. So I just ask you, please be vigilant, especially around school zones, picking up and dropping off children. Thank you.
Thank you for all that your respective departments and ministries do to help to keep the people of the Cayman Islands safe, in particular our school children, our future, as well. Folks, top of the hour, we have our news break. When we return, we will have folks from Hazard Management Cayman Islands in the studio with us. Don't change that dial. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
The Headline News is brought to you by Kirk Market and Health Services Authority.
The Cayman Drama Society presents The Princess and the Pea, with shows taking place Saturday and Sunday at 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. this weekend, as well as on October 4th and 5th. Tickets are available at cds.ky. In international news, America's late-night TV hosts have rallied behind fellow comedian Jimmy Kimmel after he was suspended by ABC in a row over comments he made about the killing of Charlie Kirk. Stephen Colbert began his show by saying, quote, "We are all Jimmy Kimmel," and said the star's removal was a, quote, "blatant assault on freedom of speech." Seth Meyers declared it is, quote, "a privilege and honor to call Jimmy Kimmel my friend," while Jon Stewart and Jimmy Fallon tackled the free speech issue by doing satirical sketches in which they were apparently forced to praise Donald Trump. Their broadcasts came shortly after the U.S. president said the main networks were overwhelmingly negative about him and could have their licenses, quote, "taken away." And a British couple who were detained for nearly 8 months by the Taliban in Afghanistan have been released. The couple, who lived in the country for nearly 2 decades, were on their way home when they were stopped on February 1st. The couple were freed through Qatari mediation. The Qatari officials said they would fly to Qatar for medical checks before traveling on to the UK, despite having a long-term home in Afghanistan. The Taliban said the pair had broken local laws and were released after judicial proceedings. Those are your headlines. I'm Karsley Fuller.
More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
Do you have a healthcare question but not sure who to ask? Contact HSA's Patient Call Center to speak to one of our experienced clinical team members. We are here to answer your questions and help guide you through your healthcare journey. Need to make an appointment? Our team can help. Contact HSA at 949-8600 or email info@hsa.ky. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
For the Record with ORRETT Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. Very busy this morning, but these topics are so important. What we will be talking about now is National Week of Readiness, and we have guests in the studio. Some are no strangers to the studio. There are another one who see the name all the time, and this is my first opportunity to see the person, the individual in person as well. So it is my pleasure, and I'm going to have both of them introduce themselves and tell our audience exactly, what we will be talking about and give a brief overview as well. Starting with you, Ms. Dunstan.
Good morning, OC, and good morning, Cayman. I'm Aaliyah Dunstan, the Acting Deputy Director for Preparedness, Planning, and Mitigation for Hazard Management, Cayman Islands.
Morning, OC. Good morning, listeners.
Yes.
My name is Shamal Clark. I'm the Manager of Research and Media Services with the National Weather Service.
Okay. And let's talk about the week of readiness, when it starts, when it ends, and what it is all about.
So the National Week of Readiness actually started on Wednesday, the 17th of September, and it runs through till next Wednesday, the 24th. The purpose of this is that we've reached the middle of hurricane season. And so if you haven't stocked up before, now is the time to stock up because the second part of the season typically gets a little busy. And then also, we've also come out of summer holidays. So the kids may have eaten out the stock. So it's a great time to restock. And our local supermarkets have partnered with us to provide blue tag specials for the week.
Mm-hmm. And as far as restocking is concerned, when you reach the end of the hurricane season as well, I believe you have some programs where rather than keeping them over for the next hurricane season, there are many persons out there who are in need of assistance as well. Let's talk about what we do for with those.
Correct. So we can always donate our leftover stock to Meals on Wheels. And there's some other local charities that receive, as well as it's a perfect time for us to become creative in the kitchen and use it for Cayman Thanksgiving, because Cayman Thanksgiving is the first Sunday right after hurricane season.
Now, we also know, Mr. Clark, that while hurricane season officially ends in November, we have had hurricanes in December as well. So tell our listening and our viewing audience why we should never be complacent and we should always be prepared.
Yeah, that is factual, that you can have hurricanes outside of what has been designated the hurricane season, which is June 1st to November 31st. And the reason why they've picked that period for hurricane season, that's when most storms typically would occur. Doesn't mean that they can't occur outside of that. So the danger or the elevated risk is during that period, but it doesn't mean that outside of that period we can't have one or two cases happening. So never drop your guard. It's important to follow official channels, and I'll reiterate that several times this morning. Follow official channels to ensure that you're getting the factual and up-to-date information that is best tailored to us here in the Cayman Islands.
Okay. Other reminders that we want to send out to people as well in terms of like travel documents, personal documents, checking your supplies, your flashlights, and all of those other things that are necessary, as well. I want to give you an opportunity.
Yeah, that definitely. And your insurance documents for your homes and vehicles, making sure that you have up-to-date photos of what the interior of your homes look like, as well as the vehicles. And if you have vessels, private, just that you have the adequate areas to, raise them to higher ground should you need to. But it's also a great time to reconsider or revisit your emergency plan for home, not just for hurricane season, but for any event, just so that, the family is aware of everything, kids are a part of it. Even if you deputize a child as, okay, you're responsible for us moving to this room, what does that look like? Who is the closest home that you would go to should you need to shelter in place elsewhere? And just knowing the elevations around the island. So if you're living on the coastal side, if you were to move inland, whose friend's house would you go to, family, so to speak? And then if that's not the case, which shelter would you be going to? So if you visit our website, caymanprepared.ky, we have a shelter map there, so you can become familiar. And we have 23 shelters across the 3 islands.
And those shelters also will, you will know what is allowed and not allowed in various shelters, those that will accommodate pets as well.
Correct. So we have 2 pet shelters, John Gray and Clifton Hunter. So.
Now, you mentioned insurance papers as well. I'm not sure how much you know about insurance coverage, but is it more difficult after the hurricane season has opened up? Are insurance companies more reluctant to engage in a policy, to open up a policy as opposed to if you did it before? I know we have seen in the past, and this goes back years ago, where the day that a hurricane is coming, people are trying to insure, their property, and of course, the insurance companies, when they have weighed the risks and everything else, would not do it. Is there a common policy as far as insurers are concerned?
Yeah, no, I'm not familiar with that, to be honest with you. But I can see why there might be reluctance if it is an impending threat, which is why you don't want to wait until that time. You want to ensure that you have your ducks in a row before an event is likely to impact the Cayman Islands. Again, National Week of Readiness, so ensure that you're ready and prepared for the potential impacts for systems. And like Aaliyah said, it's not just about hurricanes and tropical storms. You can have severe weather outside. We could have strong nor'wester. We could have just a regular squally conditions, and those could damage property as well. So you want to be prepared in the event of any significant event.
Okay. Can we talk a little bit about those entities that are participating in this National Week of Readiness?
Sure. So the local supermarkets, Kirk Market, Hurley's, all the Foster's locations, and Cost You Less have all joined us with providing blue tag specials, particularly Cost You Less and Foster's, where they have actual hurricane icons located on some of the items that they recommend for you to use for your emergency kits and pantry items. And then on Foster's website, they actually have a section that has some recipe ideas and some other material to just help people get prepared and just become a little bit creative and think about readiness in a different way.
Okay. So, Mr. Clark, let's look at the current context. We know that, as far as the weather reporting is concerned, there's some talk about systems that have developed, in the Atlantic off the coast of Africa. What's the current situation? And as far as the predictions are concerned that were issued prior to the start of the hurricane season, where are we in terms of numbers? And we know it is not an exact science prediction. It's not an exact science, but it's always good to know. What you don't want is people to drop their guard and say, well, see, last year they told us we were going to have 16 hurricanes and we only had 5, something of that nature.
Yeah, so that's the thing about weather in general and meteorology. It's not necessarily an exact science, like you said. So it's a prediction, it's a forecast, and sometimes it under performs or it overperforms. In this case, we've been fortunate to have a very quiet season so far. I know persons might be like, oh yeah, they said it's going to be a little bit above normal. I mean, count your blessings. It has been quiet, and we're happy. We're very happy. So in this case, I'm happy if the forecast is wrong in terms of having an active hurricane season. Again, there's a few factors that contributed to the first half of the season being quiet, such as wind shear and a few other stuff. The dust, Sahara dust, was a big factor in the early part of the season. But we see now that there's a lot more color on the National Hurricane Center tracking maps, and that is just showing that we're moving towards peak hurricane season. We could basically say we're in peak hurricane season, which again, it doesn't really look peak hurricane season because it's still relatively quiet. But at the same time, it is important to realize that an active season means that you just are being impacted by one storm, and that could be a very active season for you because the damages that you could incur from that storm could be one that is life-changing, for potential generations. So we want to still be vigilant in terms of monitoring and ensuring that we are ready in the eventuality that something does pop up. But yes, we're not out the woods yet. In terms of the numbers, though, we are not there. Obviously, we're below the numbers, but again, things could change as we move through the second half of the hurricane season.
Okay, folks, we're going to take a commercial break. For those of you who are just joining us, let me remind you that we're talking about the National Week of Readiness here in the Cayman Islands. That conversation is taking place. The last voice that you heard there was that of Mr. Shamal Clark, who's the research and media manager at Hazard Management Cayman Islands. And the female voice that you're hearing is Ms. Aaliyah Dunstan, who's the acting deputy director for preparedness, planning, and mitigation at Hazard Management Cayman. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
When a hurricane hits, unexpected costs can add up fast. Homeowners are usually out of pocket for these costs to get supplies or make minor repairs. But with Cineco's parametric coverage, you get automatic payouts within 2 to 3 weeks after a Category 3 or stronger storm, whether or not you have damage. Available only through Cineco Homeowners Insurance. Call 949-8101 or visit cineco.ky for a quote. That's cineco.ky to get a quote today. Cineco, keeping Cayman covered.
It's a sizzling summer with Jan Money. You can win a luxury weekend getaway for two when you send or receive money from now until September 30, 2025. That's right. We're turning up the heat this summer with Jan Money. Visit www.janmoneyonline.com to learn more about how to win. What are you waiting for? Send, win, relax this summer with Jan Money.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Can you imagine your home completely organized? At Brand Source Custom Closets, we can. We specialize in designing and building custom closets and storage units for any room in your home, including the garage, with tailored designs and custom LED lighting solutions to fit your lifestyle and budget. Our custom closets expert is committed to enhancing the value of your home with a solution that is uniquely yours. Visit our showroom or call 623-6774 to schedule a no-obligation appointment with our design expert. Brand Source Custom Closets, 209 Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park.
My mom's a superhero. She always knows what to do when I feel icky. Yesterday, we went to West Bay Pharmacy, and they had everything she needed. Medicine, my favorite Band-Aids with dinosaurs, and even flavored vitamins. Mom says they keep our family healthy. I think they're magic. Don't tell anyone. I think superhero shop at West Bay Pharmacy. West Bay Pharmacy, where the superheroes shop. West Bay Pharmacy and Centennial Towers. Convenient quality care is just around the corner.
For the Record with ORRETT Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, and I have to make one correction. I identified Mr. Shamal Clark as the research and media manager, and that's not for Hazard Management Cayman Islands, but for the Cayman Islands Weather Service. So he's in the studio with us. Also, Ms. Aaliyah Dunstan, who's the acting deputy director for preparedness, planning, and mitigation at Hazard Management Cayman Islands. Folks, the mic is over to you. And again, folks, we're talking about National Week of Preparedness as well. And before you start to talk, if you could speak a little bit about Hazard Management Cayman and in terms of helping people to be prepared, some of the app that has been developed to alert people and where we're at, with that, and whether or not the subscription, in terms of people subscribing, if we're continuing to see the numbers increase in that as well.
Okay, so hazard management actually has 4 pillars that we operate off of. Preparedness, mitigation, recovery, and response. And so with that, often people see us in the response and recovery mode. When we had Preparedness Month in May, that was us actually living through our preparedness and mitigation kind of pillars, so to speak, where we provide public education to schools, businesses, faith-based groups, the community, on just what to prepare for in the event of any type of hazard, whether it's natural or man-made. And so that's where we educate on earthquakes, tsunami, readiness, inclement weather with weather service, and also hurricanes is the most popular one because it's the longest season that we have, and the familiarity is with those storms. But we, our aim is that everybody is living in a culture of readiness, and that's something that we began last year as a platform to communicate with and just have everybody just noting the community that we have. I mean, for Ivan, I wasn't here, so I don't remember everything that everybody went through. I remember what it was like being away and observing and then coming back home. But I remember Gilbert, and I remember other storms and aging myself, and Grace and Etta, and the more recent events that we've had. So it's just noting that at any given time, especially now, something can happen, and we just have to be in that state of readiness. So for hazard management, we're working on that, and just showing tools and resources where we have online and we have in person. With that, we have the NENS app, which can be found on our website to download, and that's our National Emergency Notification System. So in the event of a sudden onset, such as an earthquake or a tsunami threat, an alert would go out. In the event of a hurricane or inclement storm, we would use it as well to warn people and prepare, providing impact assessment, but then also what to do. So if it's to get to higher ground, if it's to move inland, if it's a shelter is opening, what does that look like? How much time do you have before the next warning comes? So we find that people download the app when there is a disaster, right? We're not at the stage yet where we're pre-preparing, which is where we'd like to get to. So when we had the earthquake and tsunami threat back in February, we had maybe, I think, 2,000 people automatically sign up on the app.
Wow.
It has dwindled, and we probably have one every 2 months that are downloading the app. So it would be nice to see that uptake again. But we're continuing to just educate folks on how to download the app, how to keep the app active, especially with the iPhones that can silence them automatically with the Do Not Disturb features. So just encouraging the use of the app.
Speaking of iPhones, I think the new one launched today. I was watching the news and saw the lines in London and the lines in New York and everything else. So, Mr. Clark, we know that the National Weather Service has now embarked on, one of the really needed infrastructures for the National Weather Service, and you will soon. I don't know how soon, but you will eventually have your own building.
Yeah,
that helps you as well to even make the people of the Cayman Islands much more prepared, because you will be able to use and have more tools at your disposal as well. You want to speak to that, sir?
Yeah, sure. A little bit, not into too much detail. I can only speak with the knowledge I have.
Sure.
But yeah, it does provide better infrastructure for us to operate. A lot of persons are unaware of how we're operated now. It's a little bit tight space, not necessarily the best situation, but we make it work. Obviously, we know what we need to do in order to provide persons with the information they need to be prepared, and ultimately to reduce the risk associated with severe weather. So we do as much as we can right now, but it does open up new avenues in terms of new infrastructure, new tools, new equipments that we will have on hand to be able to even more effectively operate and be able to provide, continue to provide timely and accurate information for the Cayman Islands. So it's definitely welcoming, and we're definitely excited and looking forward to the completion of that project. Don't know the exact date at this point, so I can't speak on that. But yeah, it's definitely welcoming information and developments with regards to that project. Yeah.
So as far as the National Week of Preparedness is concerned, how can employers, especially those larger employers and employers who, for one reason or the other, have to rely on work permit holders coming into the Cayman Islands, and some may have just arrived. I mean, we see and this is a store for another day, but we know that the number of work permits continue to increase, which means that we continue to get more people coming into the islands. How can employers and businesses contribute to making the Week of Readiness a success, and at the same time informing and protecting their employees?
Certainly, probably part of their onboarding and orientation is to include some material on just what life in the tropics in the Caribbean is like. We recognize that many of our new residents do not come not knowing what it is like to have a sunny day, a rainy afternoon, a cool evening, or a very humid evening, and just what that looks like on a day-to-day basis. So, and they can always reach out to Hazard Management if they want for us to participate or provide material to help them with the onboarding information, just to acclimate our new brothers and sisters, so to speak. And then I would also say that, this is a great time if it is that you have a drill, just to understand what does this look like, refresh the plans in the office as to who is going to be staying for Cat 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, who's going to be off island, and what does that look like for the operation for their business continuity. And then what does it look like in the event that we have to have a prolonged assessment or recovery phase, and who's coming back, and all those bits and pieces.
Okay, one of our listeners wanted to know exactly what the Blue Tag Special is all about.
So that's with the supermarkets who are participating with National Week of Readiness, where they have provided discounted prices or specials on items that they feel would help build a good emergency kit for you and have long-standing items for your pantry.
And those are specifically identified on the shelves?
Correct.
Okay. And Mr. Clark, in relation to people listening to broadcasts, we know, because of so many apps and, so many platforms, what do you say in terms of reliability and what the National Weather Service provides, and how that information is collected and distributed as well? What we'll do is we'll go to the commercial break so that I don't have to interrupt you in explaining that to our listening and our viewing audience. So folks, don't change that dial. When we return, Mr. Clark from the Cayman Islands Weather Service will talk to you about alerts and national weather forecasting as well when it comes to hurricane. And don't think that, in any way he's being partial because he works for the National Weather Service. But we have experience, we have historical evidence, of persons following, other forecasts and not getting it right as well. So always good to stick as close to home as possible. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
My mom mom's a superhero. She always knows what to do when I feel icky. Yesterday, we went to West Bay Pharmacy, and they had everything she needed. Medicine, my favorite Band-Aids with dinosaurs, and even flavored vitamins. Mom says they keep our family healthy. I think they're magic. Don't tell anyone. I think superhero shop at West Bay Pharmacy. West Bay Pharmacy, where the superheroes shop. West Bay Pharmacy and Centennial Towers. Convenient quality care is just around the corner.
Can you imagine your home completely organized? At Brand Source Custom Closets, we can. We specialize in designing and building custom closets and storage units for any room in your home, including the garage. With tailored designs and custom LED lighting solutions to fit your lifestyle and budget. Our custom closets expert is committed to enhancing the value of your home with a solution that is uniquely yours. Visit our showroom or call 623-6774 to schedule a no-obligation appointment with our design expert. Brand Source Custom Closets, 209 Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
At Kirk's Home Center, we can make your life much better. We got it all together. We got a great deal in store for you. From cookware to stereos, from power tools to plumbing supplies. Yeah, we got the best goods with the best price and a service to make you smile. Kirk's Home Center. Got a great deal in store for you.
For the Record with ORRETT Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We are talking about the National Week of Preparedness here in the Cayman Islands. That conversation is taking place with Mr. Shamal Clark and Ms. Aaliyah Dunstan. And before we went to the commercial break, we were talking about the need to rely on our local weather service, or the reports from our local weather service. Mr. Clark.
Yeah, so I could talk for some time on that point, to be honest. It has been a uphill battle, not just for us in the Cayman Islands, but internationally as well, in terms of a lot of experts that are popping up, especially with social media. You find that a lot of persons, anyone with a computer or phone now, could be an expert on a topic.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's not to discredit, anyone's knowledge, the persons who are putting these information out there, but then you look at, why are you doing it? Is it just out of the goodness of your heart that you want to inform persons, or are you doing it for the likes and for the follows? And a lot of times when they put information out, there is no accountability, so nobody goes back to them and say, oh, you got it wrong, or, why didn't this happen, and so forth. And again, there's legalities with that, because, again, you're not going to take them to court to say whatever, but at the same time, the National Weather Service could be, So we have to be very, very careful and cautious in terms of the information that we put out there. We want to make sure that it is accurate as best as possible. So one of the things you'll find is that they'll do forecasting with global models, and they'll just basically tell you what it is globally, what it is from the large-scale models. And we could talk about models a lot more, so we probably need to book another show for that, just for talk about weather models and understanding how they work, because I think that plays a key role in persons understanding why what we do is so important. So we don't just take that information as it is and say, hey, this is what the models are saying. No, we actually then have to translate that for the Cayman Islands, because a lot of the large-scale models don't actually pick up the Cayman Islands.
Mm-hmm.
So it is not able to provide you that level of detail. But a lot of persons sell it as is, yeah, we could do it, but no, that's not the case. So we have the tools in-house that we're able to then translate that message that is being displayed globally to what is happening locally here in the Cayman Islands. And then we understand the local intricacies in terms of vulnerable areas and how weather typically transition from, let's say, from the sea onto land and that kind of stuff. So we have to factor in a lot of that when we put our forecast out there. And then we then provide that to the public. So what you're getting is custom information that is specific for the Cayman Islands, not global or general information. And that is what is important. So what you find is that persons will hear information from elsewhere and it will get circulated. And if it's wrong, then they call you and say, oh, well, why you told us this? But actually, no, when you check it, where did you get that information from? Well, that is not the National Weather Service. We've actually had that recently, to be honest with you, where there was a question as to why we didn't update some forecasts, but we actually don't control that information. So, for example, if you're on your phone and you see the weather forecast for the week, that is not us. That is typically default. Let's say if you're Apple, then that's Apple weather.
Okay.
If you're on Android, then that's Google or something. And that is pulling from some global models or wherever they're pulling it from. And what you'll find is that it will not necessarily reflect what is happening on the ground sometimes. Not to say there's times it's not accurate, yes. But a lot of times you'll find that it differs from what we are forecasting. For example, and we were talking off here about like the afternoon thunderstorms and that. And that is a possibility. So you'll find sometimes the models will say, oh, it's going to be sunny today. But then we have afternoon thunderstorms. And we could have significant rainfall with that, which could lead to flooding and that kind of situation. So we now would understand the local weather phenomenons and how those evolve. And we could then, even without the global models, we could know, okay, if we're getting light winds or if it's coming from the east or versus the southeast, what does that mean? And we would factor that into our forecast. So it is specific to the Cayman Islands, and it's not just a global model. Because one of the things to remember, again, like I said, we could talk about this for quite some time, is that a model is as good as the information that goes into it. All right, so every hour sometimes we do observations and we send it out, and then sometimes that information gets pulled into the global model. So let's just say on a bad day that 75% of the persons that entered something wrong. Then the information that is initialized, then it takes that information and it goes with it. Thankfully, the models don't just work by that, because it actually has this feature in it that checks to see, actually, that doesn't make sense. So maybe I'll use it, maybe I won't use it. So it does have that feature in it. But sometimes it might discard something that is valuable, and other times it might just discard something that it really needed to. But at the same time, with our local knowledge and local experience and expertise with the weather here, we're able to give and provide accurate information for the Cayman Islands.
Okay. And anything you want to add to that, Ms. Dunstan?
No, it's just that I know Weather Service and Hazard Management are best of friends, especially this time of year.
All the time.
And it's often that people will stop me and say, so Leah, what's the weather going to be like today? And it's just, because we very much keep in touch with each other. And because we are living in a world of readiness and working on being prepared, we're continuously working on, okay, so what's the water table like? Are we checking our flood sensors? Are we looking at all the other pieces of knowledge that we have here on island so that we know, is it that it's time to shift into preparedness messaging, or are we okay? What does that look like as we partner in just helping everybody get ready and just stay alert?
Okay, one of our listeners wanted to know about hurricane shutters, and they're not sure whether or not this falls under your remit in terms of hazard management. But they say that in this week of preparedness, can you say where the government is in relation to assisting those persons who need the assistance as far as hurricane shutters or roof repairs is concerned?
Yeah, that is probably beyond me, to be able to provide that information. We'd have to do a little bit of research into that.
Yeah, and I may have to direct that elsewhere. I think they're referring to, I'm not sure whether or not it was something that was connected with the
Under planning? Was
planning
or that
and
ministry?
the ministry with responsibility for children and family services, I believe, or it may be now under the Ministry of Social Development. Yes, yeah. So we would probably have to direct that in that area. But what message would you have for those persons who have not fully prepared their residents as far as, hurricane shutters or everything else? We know that when a hurricane is approaching, that's the time that the members of our parliament get into action, and they look out for their constituencies in terms of plywood. What's the other one again? The bags, sandbags.
The sandbags.
As well. What do we say to those persons? And if they have had plywood and sandbags in the past, and if they're still available, what should they be checking, as far as those are concerned, to see if they can be reused?
Well, I would say that another good resource for them to utilize is their constituency officer, who would have the direct connection to their MP, but also would probably have a connection with social development and the other ministries that would be able to assist them. The other thing is that, thankfully, we have not had to activate our sandbag operation this year. But in the event that was necessary, working with just knowing what would be headed our way, we'd be able to put that into place and set up the sand stations as we had last year, and encourage folks to purchase their sandbags at the hardware stores, and we could assist them with filling them with the appropriate sand in preparation for.
One of the things I want to add to that too is it is important in the week of readiness and outside of the week of readiness to always assess your risk. So and sometimes we think, okay, we know this is typically what happens in our area, but remember now that with like developments around you, that could impact you as well. So it doesn't necessarily mean something at your home change, but the landscape around you could change as well. So it is important to always assess your risk, understand if something is changing and what does that mean for you in terms of impacts. And that will then determine, okay, do I need to make adjustments to my plan? And, again, you could reach out to caymanprepare.ky for information on how to assess and how to prepare based on those new information or new developments that is happening around you. So again, it might be a shift in goalposts, an ever shifting goalposts, but again, it's important to assess and ensure that you are ready and prepared for anything. One of the things I wanted to mention, if I can, OC, was
sure.
We were talking about it as well in terms of the second half of the hurricane season. Usually when a system forms in the Atlantic, it's better in terms of preparedness because you have more lead time. You have an alert phase, a watch phase, a warning phase. You have all that time to be able to provide information and get prepared. But when we move to this half of the season, we typically see the Western Caribbean being the genesis area for where these systems could potentially develop. So you're looking at the Western Caribbean and the Gulf that we could have system develop. And what that means is that we don't necessarily have that much lead time. So whereas you might have 48 hours before with a system coming from the Eastern Caribbean, you might only have 24 hours, 36 hours. But rarely you'll get that 72-hour window where you have that much time to prepare because the system forms as just a broad area of showers. But what we do as a team is that we work out severe weather messaging, and we start to talk about that even before a system has a name, because some persons actually wait for a name storm before they act, and they think, okay, we need to wait for a name. No, a system doesn't need to have a name for it to impact you significantly. We could have inches of rainfall that could lead to severe flooding from a system that never became a tropical storm. So it's important to understand that these possibilities exist, especially as we move through into October and then closer to the end of the hurricane season.
Okay, we're going to take our last commercial break. When we return, we're talking, to our audience and to the public, about being prepared. And we want to talk a little bit about how your organizations are always prepared in terms of, like, for instance, the shelters, training, what you have in place there, as well. And that may really entice people to say, well, they're prepared, and if they're prepared, why shouldn't I be prepared as well? Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
It's a sizzling summer with Jan Money. You can win a luxury weekend getaway for two when you send or receive money from now until September 30, 2025. That's right. We're turning up the heat this summer with Jan Money. Visit www.janmoneyonline.com to learn more about how to win. What are you waiting for? Send, win, relax this summer with Jan Money.
Your dream home starts with a vision, and often inspiration is at the heart of that vision. Brand Source Home Gallery's in-house designers are here to help bring your vision to life. Whether you're remodeling or building a new home, Brand Source Home Gallery is your one-stop solution. Explore their kitchen cabinets, sinks, faucets, bath fixtures, tubs, vanities, and more. Let Brand Source's designers help and inspire you with your next project. Call 623-5000 and schedule an appointment with a design expert at Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, serving Cayman for 50 years.
Shipping to the Cayman Islands is fast, reliable, and seamless thanks to Cayman Airways Cargo. Need it faster than ocean freight? Cayman Airways Cargo offers multiple cargo flights to Grand Cayman from Miami weekly, so your packages, whether big, small, or in between, will arrive in no time. You can even use a Cayman Airways Cargo US address for your online shopping. Cayman Airways Cargo is also the only carrier providing air freight services for Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Contact us today and see why Cayman Airways Cargo was voted as Cayman's best cargo and logistics company in the Best of Cayman Awards. For details, visit CaymanAirways.com/cargo.
My mom's a superhero. She always knows what to do when I feel icky. Yesterday, we went to West Bay Pharmacy, and they had everything she needed. Medicine, my favorite Band-Aid with dinosaurs, and even flavored vitamins. Mom says they keep our family healthy. I think they're magic. Don't tell anyone. I think superhero shop at West Bay Pharmacy. West Bay Pharmacy, where the superheroes shop. West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. Convenient quality care is just around the corner.
For the record, with ORRETT Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We're on the last leg of the show this morning. We're talking about Awareness Week. That conversation has taken place with Miss Aliyah Dunstan and Mr. Shamal Clark. I'm going to read this, and I shared it already with our guest. This person has sent a photograph and said, "Good morning. Please ask the young man why cloud seeding is allowed in our skies on a daily basis." This is a photo this morning in West Bay, and your examination of that photograph tells you what, Mr. Clark?
All right, so in that photograph, that is actually contrails. What it is whenever planes fly at certain height, and we have to just remember how clouds form. So you need a nuclei for the water to condense around. So when the clouds move through, there's available moisture in the atmosphere, and then gases gets released. It tends to have potential particles, and then those particles are what the water droplets form around. So that gives that streak that you see across the sky, and those are called contrails. So not cloud seeded in that case. Not to say cloud seeding doesn't happen in other places, which it does happen. But no, we don't do any cloud seeding here in the Cayman Islands. But I think in the United Arab Emirates and so forth, they do have that, and I've seen a few technologies that have been developed. I can't say why it's necessarily allowed, but what I can say is that man has always been trying to find new discoveries and experiments and so forth. And like I mentioned, some to the detriment and then some to enhance. But for whatever reason, they're experimenting with that technology. But yeah, in this case, whenever you look outside, if you see those streaks, sometimes it looks like double streaks parallel running. It's usually because the jet engines are on both sides. It kind of lines up with the path the plane takes. And again, it just creates the nuclei for condensation to happen at that level. And that's why you see that streak across the sky.
Okay. So hazard management, Cayman Islands. The Scout motto is be prepared. And I believe that hazard management follows that motto as well. So while we're encouraging, people to be prepared, we know that your organization is prepared, and you do that by observing certain practices in terms of training and everything else.
Well,
Tell us about those.
We have to live it, breathe it, everything it. And even I just think of with even our fleet management, we practice that the gas tank can go below half, just so that we're always staying in that state of readiness where fuel is concerned. But then as a team, we all have our to-go bags always packed, ready to go. Our duty officer walks with her bag and radio 24/7. And then as a team, we also facilitate the NEOC being ready. Recently, we had a readiness test just to check the pulse of how everybody was feeling, if there were any gaps that we needed to fill, if there was anything that we needed to take care of, and just noting, well, if there are vulnerabilities, how are we going to ensure that we are able to be resilient in the event of? So increasing our internet connectivity, having backup plans where that's concerned, ensuring that we have the right numbers in place, all those little bits and pieces that we probably would take for granted day to day, we're continuously checking and rechecking. And just keeping communication in check. Shelter management training, we've undergone the full cycle of it. We're still receiving volunteers if they want to become shelter managers. It is a need on the island for sure. And also for persons who want to become a part of the community emergency response teams or CERTs, we're receiving those as well continuously throughout, especially in Georgetown, Prospect area, where our numbers are a little bit less. And then also we had done a hurricane survey back in June, July. Based off of that information, we're able to now tailor certain things to meet the needs of those in our community. One of the things was, noting that our alerts, our communication with the public was probably not as strong in some areas. So we've worked with Weather Service, we've worked with Department of Communications on just what that looks like and how everybody can use it to just know when we are at risk, when we need to be at all times, so to speak.
Yeah. I mean, and not just as individual departments, because we do interdepartment, or however you want to term that one, exercises and training. So we do that. We had one recent in terms of just how we communicate and that kind of stuff. So we're forever testing our systems. It might not be obvious to the public. Not everything is public facing, but that's okay. At least we know internally we have our systems that work, and it will inform and keep persons abreast of what is happening. So we test. As for National Weather Service, obviously we are always maintaining our equipment as best as possible and ensuring that we can operate during the hurricane season, especially if there's a threat. So we do that individually, and then as a collective we do exercises to test the scenarios and ensure that the system works.
Okay. Anything that we haven't covered that you want to ensure that we cover? We still have about 5 minutes left.
Yeah. So just to reiterate, I know we talked about sources of information. So just to remind persons what those sources are. So we have gov.ky. We do have WhatsApp channel as well. We have weather.gov.ky, Cayman Prepared KY. The Weather Service does have a WhatsApp channel as well, and we have the NENS app. So we're encouraging persons to ensure that you're following, information from one of these sources. And before we make a decision as to, okay, we're going to buy stuff or we're not going to buy stuff because we saw information somewhere being circulated, check where is that information coming from. We've had persons before call our office and say, hey, we heard this is happening, but we're checking with you first because we want to make sure. And then we're saying, well, we're not aware of anything. No, we're not issuing anything. There's nothing of concern. And then they're okay, so they disregard, which is very good. We encourage persons to check where's that information coming from. So not because it's coming from your cousin or your sister mean that, it is accurate. It's good to verify that information where it's coming from. So I just want to stress that point.
Okay, and while you have the mic, I want to give you an opportunity for some closing comments, and Ms. Dunstan will have the last word.
So for me, again, while you're following all the official channels, just again remain vigilant and do not drop your guard because it has been a quiet season so far. We don't need a named storm for it to impact us. It could be just a significant weather event, which we're moving to that time of the year where those type of scenarios could actually happen, where you'll find a lot of things happen near Central America, and it will then just drift across into our area. So remain vigilant, ensure that your plan is up to date, and stay safe.
Okay.
Yep, and take advantage of the specials in the supermarkets this weekend. I know it's not the easiest thing to do, but if you can just add an extra can of corned beef or an extra tin of like tuna, one more item will go a long way. The disaster is not being prepared and what happens in the event of. So it's just to remember to be vigilant, as Shamal said, and stay in the know and remain calm.
Yes, folks. It has been my pleasure to accommodate the representative from the National Weather Service, Mr. Shamal Clark, and from Hazard Management Cayman, Ms. Aliyah Dunstan, to talk about this preparedness week. Again, we want to commend you and your respective entities for all that you do to keep the Cayman Islands informed, to keep the Cayman Islands safe as well. We know that sometimes that can be a thankless job because, when the finger pointing starts, that, it's going to come, at you. But, you do an excellent job. And like Mr. Clark pointed out, that forecasting, it is not an exact science, but they have the tools at their disposal and the data at their disposal as well, that they can get as accurate as they possibly can in terms of giving you information. And if you get no other takeaway, from today's discussion, it is that please rely on your local weather service for your information. There's so much of it out there, but please rely on your local weather service. It has worked in the past. It will continue to work in the future. And the Cayman Islands, we have a very good record, a very good history in terms of the small number of fatalities that we have, during a hurricane or any other natural disaster as well. We have had earthquakes here in the Cayman Islands, not as frequent as hurricanes, but our record is excellent. And the reason for that is, of course, being prepared.
Absolutely.
Okay, folks, thank you. Thank you very much. I welcome you to join me at 12:15 for Talk Today. Continue to enjoy your day as well. And as usual, we ask the good Lord to continue to bless these three beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
If they are talking about us,
living in your head rent-free all this time,
we must be relevant.